What's up, you guys? Stoop's back in another video. And with all the recent commotion coming up, everyone is talking about Battle for Azeroth versus classic or vanilla World of Warcraft. And being at BlizzCon, it was really exciting. Being there and seeing Blizzard finally announce the release of classic vanilla World of Warcraft on their own servers was just an awesome moment. And I know many people are very excited about this. So, being a player who has played World of Warcraft since vanilla, I decided to create a little series on my channel where I will compare Battle for Azeroth or Legion to classic vanilla World of Warcraft. So in this series, I will be going over all of the differences, the similarities, the strengths, the pros and cons of both formats so that everyone at home can make their own decision on whether they'd like to play classic or regular current retail, or if they'd simply like to play both, as I think both formats have their strengths and I find them both to be very entertaining. Now, before I start with this, I want you guys to know that I will be playing both vanilla and the current state Battle for Azeroth Legion. I'll be playing both formats. Most likely I'll be playing the current state of World of Warcraft, and in my off time I will be playing classic or vanilla WoW. I like both formats for several and various reasons that you guys will discover throughout these videos.
Pillows upside down, man.
That's much better. So in today's video, I will be going over the idea of rewards, feeling rewarded for the amount of work that you are doing or putting into the video game. And to be quite honest, I think this might be the biggest difference when comparing both formats. And this does not only include just like the rewards that you earn throughout the game, but the sense of satisfaction when investing a lot of time and putting in a lot of work into each format. So currently in Legion, you get rewarded for everything. Everything you do in Legion, and I assume the same to be for future expansions such as Battle for Azeroth, everything you do gives you some type of reward. You gear a lot faster, you get gold really easy. Well, gold doesn't really matter anymore. You get reputation increases really easily. You unlock all of your traits, all of your talents. You have access to almost everything in the game. Everything you do, the game goes out of its way to reward you, and currently it's kind of RNG. I mean, you might get rewards sometimes, and sometimes you get rewards out of nowhere. Now, this is great and all, specifically at the beginning of the expansion. When you start, you get all of these things in your bag, and it's a model that most games today really use. Like Destiny 2, for example, you get gear like crazy. You get so much gear that you don't even know what to do with it. You start dismantling it, you start disenchanting it, you start selling it. By the time you get a new piece of gear, you get a better piece of gear that easily replaces the one that you worked so hard for. Well, I guess you worked hard. Not really. They have tons of catch-up mechanics. Currently in Legion, if you're behind, if you haven't played in a couple months, you can catch up to everybody in a matter of days. This is not the same with classic or vanilla World of Warcraft. And again, I think this is the biggest difference between both formats. But like I said earlier, it does feel really good when you start the game. It feels very rewarding, very exciting. It keeps you compelled for a good amount of time. It really incentivizes you to keep logging on, keep playing, keep getting gear, keep increasing your item level. And in PvP, item level is all that really matters. You start unlocking all of your artifact traits. This might be different in the next expansion. You start unlocking all of your honor talents. This also might be different in the next expansion. But this is a theme that they've carried on through almost several of the past expansions. Gearing is really easy. Getting achievements is really easy. Unlocking content, you don't have to unlock anything. It's all right there for you. Even understanding your class is quite simple. You don't have that many abilities. Everything is right there at your disposal, and you can multi-class really easily. And I'm not here to say that one format is better than the other. I'm just providing information for you guys, especially those of you who have never tried vanilla World of Warcraft. So when you decide which format you want to play, or maybe even both, you're a little bit more prepared for what you're getting into. The issue with this is that after a while, you kind of get overstimulated. You're so used to getting all these pieces of gear, nothing really feels rewarding. The game just hands you stuff out of nowhere. And while it is very exciting at first, you kind of get over it. Put it this way. When you get your first girlfriend and you have sex for the first time, it feels great. You guys keep doing it all the time, 2 times a day, 3 times a day, 4 times a day. But after a while, you kind of get over it. It doesn't feel as good anymore. Your wiener gets raw. You start noticing all these little things about your girlfriend that you don't like anymore. You start noticing that she has some hair above her lip, like this gross, creepy mustache. It kind of freaks you out. And you start second guessing your relationship. That's kind of how Legion is. You get all this gear, but after a while, you don't feel rewarded for anything. And again, it is really fun at the start or when you make a new alt, because it feels very rewarding in the beginning. It keeps you wanting to play your alt for the next couple of days, even weeks. But after a few months, it gets kind of boring. It gets dull. You don't feel like you're working for anything really. You know you're gonna get gear. You know how to get the gear, and it's quite easy to attain. But again, this is way different in Classic. Classic's more like you're 13 years old, you're 14 years old, even 15 years old. You've never had a girlfriend before. You've never even jacked off before. And you're just filled with all this anticipation. You're sweaty, you're tired, like this weird, fell demon slave that's been trapped for all this time. And then when your parents leave, you finally finally get the opportunity to let one loose. Finally release this crazy eye beam all over your desk. Just and you are so happy to do so. It feels amazing. You're super excited about it. You go to bed with like a bowl of ice cream in your hand. You sleep with a smile on your face, and you're excited to continue the journey and hopefully get an opportunity when your parents go on vacation. Joking aside, but it's kind of like that. Everything you do is incremental. You don't really notice all the small milestones. You barely get rewarded for what you do. Maybe you'll get a little honor here, a little reputation here. Maybe you earn a couple silver, even a couple gold, but you still need a lot of gold to get your mount. You still need a lot of reputation to start doing new zones, new quest chains, purchase character-specific gear. You might run a dungeon over and over and over again, and you can't even clear it because you guys keep wiping. But finally, you get that piece of tier 0.5 gear, and you're so excited to share that with everybody inside of Orgrimmar. It feels so good. And part of that is because your gear isn't easily replaced. In Legion, and I assume the next expansion, you might get a piece of gear, but in a week or even a couple days, you might just RNG and get a better piece of gear. You might get a Titan Forge piece of gear, which they are going to be using in the next expansion. So gear is easily replaced, and it doesn't feel very special. I mean, I kind of get excited about gear, but not really. But in Classic, you really care about the piece of gear that you get. It never really matches, but it means something. You worked really hard for it, and you know it's gonna last for a little bit of time. And the reason why I think this is very rewarding for some players, and where I think that Classic does have the upper hand in this area. And again, throughout the series, I'm gonna compare the two platforms, and I do think that current WoW has a lot of advantages over Classic or Vanilla World of Warcraft. But in terms of rewards, I think the slower model is a lot better for the long term. For the short term, not really, because it's not very hype. It's lull, but it's like real life. At your job, you work hours and weeks and even months or even years to get a promotion, to get that job that you've always wanted, to get that raise. And you don't know if the work that you're putting in is really gonna get you anywhere. Life isn't handing you out free rewards along the way. Like, here you go, man. Good job on cleaning the bathroom. Here's a pay raise. It doesn't work that way. You have to put in months of effort, and I think people can relate to that. And I think that's why Classic has that long-term stability. So I hope to see this kind of change in the next expansion for World of Warcraft, that being Battle for Azeroth. I don't want things to be handed out like pieces of candy. Like, ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. I want it to be something or feel like something that requires some effort to attain. But it might just be the model for Blizzard. They might want people to get hyped for a couple months, a couple years, and then they know people will fall off. And that is why my prediction for the next expansion to be launched will be like September 2018, and then I expect Classic to come out around September 2019. Why? Most likely they want people to play their new expansion, and then after a year, after they've gotten all their gear and have multiple alts, they'll release Classic WoW, and that will provide that long-term stability, that long-term playstyle, and usually that is very addictive. So again, for some people, one might be better than the other. I think they both have their benefits. I think they both have their cons. For Classic, it just takes a lot of time, and who has time nowadays? But if you do have the time, and you don't mind grinding for hours and hours and weeks and weeks and weeks, it could be worth it for you. But overall, those are just my thoughts. That is my comparison. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys like. Which system do you like more? Are you guys looking forward to Vanilla World of Warcraft? Classic World of Warcraft? Do you guys not really care about that, and you're just gonna play Battle for Azeroth? Are you gonna play both like me? Let me know in the comment section below. Also, let me know what other topics you guys want me to cover. I have a list of them, but if there's something specifically that you want me to cover in this series, let me know in the comment section below. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't have to miss me on my YouTube live stream or answer all of your guys' questions in depth. Do not forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.